Welcome to the KM100 Bay. Woohoo! Okay, Gary, let's do it. Wow, we're rocking and rolling at the speed of 100 with episode 100. Hi guys, this week we are talking about the speed of 100, 20,000 shakes, Zika virus murder and provocative ponderings.
Zika virus murder?
Oh, you'll have to read that one to find out. And as part of our celebrating this 100th episode, we're very excited that you guys took time to record and share some helpful messages. And we'll play these through the show.
Yes, folks, this is episode 100 of our Beekeeping podcast, Drive.
Welcome again. And this week, we would like to thank all our patrons who support the work we do. And we start with
Aaron and Lauren Jennings from Jennings Apiaries in Louisiana.
Aaron Evans from Wellington in New Zealand.
And Christopher and Laura Brown from Brittmana in Northern England.
Absolutely, the good old UK. And Gavin Webber from
Little Green Cheese.
Yes, and Graham Mander.
Yes, from Auckland and Wellington.
Auckland and Wellington, staying in Auckland. Jennifer from Sea Willow Herbs.
Yep, and Lisa Morrissey
from Auckland.
And Mead Drinker Tyson from the Mead Maker podcast.
And where's he from? LA?
I'm not sure. We'll have to find out.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure where he's from.
Listen to his podcast and you may work it out.
Ah, very good. And Stuart from Thinking Bee podcast.
Yes, thanks, Stuart, for all your help and everyone else. It's been awesome.
Yeah. Well, we got here because of your kindness, and thank you. Your enthusiasm and contributions have helped us to make it to
100 shows.
Yay!
Who would have believed it? We started this 4 years ago, didn't we?
4 years, and yeah, I just want to say, Gary, congratulations on all your efforts, and thank you for making all this possible. And yeah.
No, that's all right.
Awesome.
We couldn't have done it without your support too, Margaret. And you stopped me drinking the champagne during the show. You're restricting me.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, that was just a little, yeah, okay.
And if you value what we do, please consider supporting us through Patreon at kiwi.bz/banana. We'd much appreciate that.
Okay, now we're going to the USA, and we have a message from Virginia.
Hello to my favorite Kiwis from Herschel in Virginia. Congratulations on your 100th episode, and I'm looking forward to episode 200.
Wow,
oh, geez,
200.
A lot of work ahead of us.
And birthday greetings to Herschel, because last week he finally turned 21.
Oh, fantastic. Congratulations, and don't go changing.
No, absolutely. And welcome to the KM100 Buzz. Hi, I'm Gary, and over there is
Margaret.
And we are beekeepers from the hills of the Waitaki Ranges in West Auckland, New Zealand. And our podcast is about beekeeping, gardening and political issues occasionally, especially when it's to do with the environment, eh?
Yeah, anything that affects the bees, we like to share it and get people to be aware of what's happening out there.
And we're celebrating tonight our 100th show.
Woohoo!
So we may go off on tangents.
About other issues?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And you know, what's next, Gary?
It's summer in New Zealand, and we recorded this in December 2016. It's for Suzanne.
Okay, Suzanne, hopes all's well. And
the show notes are at
kiwi.bz/100.
That's right. It's fantastic.
Okay, so now we're off to Australia.
We're off to Australia. We're off to Queensland in Pacific. So shout out to everyone in Queensland. If you've got a lot of listeners there. Did you know it's known as the Sunshine State because it has over 300 days of sunshine every year.
Wow, that sounds Fantastic. Plenty of vitamin D to go around there then.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we should maybe go on holiday there. Sounds nice.
That would be wonderful, wouldn't it? Anyway, moving along, Gary.
Yeah, thanks for listening to the show. We know life is busy, and we really appreciate you've come along today to talk to us, listen to us, and joining our celebrations.
Yeah, thanks, guys, and we appreciate it. And, we hope you enjoy this episode as much as we have been putting it together. And, we got lovely stuff from you guys as well. So thank you. And let's go. What's next?
We're going to Louisiana.
Hey, Gary. Hey, Margaret. This is Yappy B-Man from the United States of old America. And I wanted to stop by and just say congratulations on your awesome 100th episode of the podcast. Man, what a hoot is that? I look forward to every time one of them comes out. I can't wait till this episode actually notifies me that it's been put out there. I'm looking forward to hearing it and all the submissions from everybody. And this is great. So congratulations on number 100. I'm looking forward for the next 99 to enjoy those and laugh and carry on the way you guys do. You guys are great. But I'm looking forward to the 200th episode now so that we can do all this fun all over again. So keep up the good work, and we'll catch you soon. It's Yappy B-Man. We'll see ya.
Thanks, Yappy.
Yeah, thank you.
There's a theme growing here. There's a bit of pressure to get to 200.
Yeah, no pressure at all. Crikey. That'll keep us going.
Yeah, well, as 100 has been reached, we never believed we'd get this far, did we?
We sort of started off and were doing it and just loving it, and then once we started getting so much feedback, it just grew from there, eh? It's just that whole feeling of people appreciating what we're doing and finding it helpful as well. So, thanks, guys. We really do appreciate it. And,
we really
is awesome.
we really do appreciate you and you guys.
Everything is cool when you're part of the KM100 buzz.
Anyway, we released the first show on the 19th of May, 2012.
Wow.
4 years ago. Let's rewind back to that show. Listen to this.
This is the very first podcast that we are holding here at KM100 HQ, and I'm really happy that you decided to join us and be a part of it.
Yeah, thanks for coming, everyone.
Yeah, those were the days when I almost suffocated because I just kept losing my breath, and I used to feel like I was going to pass out, and always the cough, eh? The cough would come on, and then, oh no.
It's hard, because when I was in that presentation the other day to that live thing, I kept running out of breath as well because you keep talking.
Yeah, I think you get quite nervous, and things get a bit tense.
Indeed. Well, we've had 163,000 downloads.
Wow.
And we've been downloaded in 154 countries, all the way from Albania to Zimbabwe.
That is just fantastic. Fantastic.
But there's some sad news. Still no downloads from Greenland.
Oh.
Come on, guys.
What the heck are they doing there?
I don't
not beekeeping by the sound.
Yeah, not beekeeping very much.
You'd think they'd have plenty of time.
Well, yeah, all that greenery.
Anyway, let's go back to New Zealand, Gary.
Yes, we're sending our love this week to everyone on the South Island who's affected by the recent earthquake. So still in repair mode and there's ongoing aftershocks and shakes. And unfortunately, 2 people lost their lives in that earthquake, so that was no good, was it?
No, and it is very sad that we lost lives. In the big scheme of things, we're getting 20,000 aftershocks, and some of these aftershocks are 6.4 on the Richter scale. So it's pretty significant, and it's the children are still feeling it, and I think we're going to be in repair mode for quite some time.
Yes, absolutely. And there's been a few beekeepers of their hives have completely fallen over, so they've had to get them all righted and stuff. And there's a few people having problems with access because a lot of the roads are still closed as well. So,
the honey production's going to go crazy, isn't it?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, we had a bit of a high fall over there too, didn't we, in the wind?
Yeah, we had some pretty bad wind here, and one of my 7-frame nuke box, well, it's not a nuke box, it's the actual working colony, that one just got buffed by the wind, and luckily we were both here. We both quickly ran out, put our suits on, and righted it. So I've got to go in and check that the queen's still there and nice and healthy. Yeah,
it's a good job we were here, because about an hour later it started raining, didn't it?
Yep, it sure did, and it was a good catch, really.
Absolutely.
Could have been worse, man.
Oh, could have been worse. And I'll talk about a new feature this week.
And tell us all about it.
Well, you know how we interview amazing beekeepers around the world?
Always.
Well, I've got a new feature. You can actually suggest a guest feature. So you can actually recommend someone else that you want to hear from.
That sounds good.
Or you can recommend yourself. So that's I think it's under podcasts and under suggest a guest or something. So have a look at that.
Well, if you're the one who did it, then you should know where it is, Gary.
I forgot.
Come on, it's all that champagne, I think.
We haven't even started the champagne.
Oh, that's right.
You wait till we do. Well, what have you? I'll come back to you about that. What have you been up to?
Has the party started?
What are you?
Has the party started?
What's Margaret been up to?
Me. Little old me. I've been working on some blog posts for you guys. Now that we're going into a bit of, Christmas time, it's summer here, so we'll all be preparing for Santa's visit and everything like that. So I put some work together and photos and stuff of some of the things I've been doing over the last few months. And hopefully they're helpful and you guys can enjoy them. We're going to release a 3-part blog to help people with identifying what the basics of starting beekeeping are. And we should be releasing part 1.
Yes, we should soon.
Okay, and the other one was a beginner who got through their first winter, and we've done a blog about that, so that'll be coming out probably next week. So watch the space for that one. Okay, and what else have I been up to? The new season splits that I've done, 3 were successful and 3 are in a holding pattern. One I had to add eggs to because the queen cell just sat there, just doing nothing, and the bees weren't even interested in it, so I must have damaged it or something when I was, putting the colonies together. The other one was a bit slower, but she's laying really well, and the 3rd one, she is just laying like you wouldn't believe. So, yeah, so different results from the same situation. So that's what I've been doing, and yeah, we'll just see what happens. And
it's still muddy here, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, and it has been just so wet, and now it's starting to dry up a bit. We've just left the flowers to grow.
Bees are loving the flowers.
Oh, they are. They're really enjoying it. Gary took a nice photo the other day, so I'm not sure if he's going to share that, are you?
Yes. It's on Instagram, so check out our Instagram account. And
cool.
It's on there.
Have a look at that one. And
going back to the last thing, it's if you click under podcast.
Yeah.
And then it'll be recommend a guest. That's what it'll be called.
Oh, okay. So that's if you guys want to suggest someone that you think would be of value and teach us something new, which we always want to learn, go there.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Okay. So what else have I been doing? I've been working with one of my beginner. Are you going to sleep?
That's for Yappy.
Oh, thank you, Gary.
Okay.
In the middle of my presentation. How rude. Anyway, back to business. I've been working with a beginner. They are probably in their 2nd season, I think. Anyway, we're splitting the colonies and having a 50-50 success at this point. But the next 2 weeks will show true results because we've got some ones that we did a bit later, and we're still waiting for them to be queen right. So, yeah, still getting on with it. And back here at Kiwimana HQ, the apiary work has been very muddy, and the grass is growing well, and the bees are enjoying all that and foraging on what most of us would call weeds. And our garden looks absolutely stunning.
A hoarder's paradise.
I'm not sure about that one. Anyway,
Well, the other day we had a landscape gardener coming over. She knows who she is, and I was showing her our fantastic landscape garden.
it's called Au Natural. Anyway, people are appalled sometimes, but I think, we need to give the girls some foraging, and that's what we've done. And in the next few weeks, once the summer hits, we'll probably get all that cut down. And then
we will.
Bringing in the hay. Bringing in the hay.
Because I took a photo the day of our lawn, and I said on Instagram, and I wrote, "No, our lawnmower's not broken. We're just trying to feed our bees."
That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, right. A lot of people like that, so it's good.
Okay, and as summer is officially here in New Zealand, about a month ago, just the way things were going with the bees and everything, I made a prediction that this season will be an excellent honey-producing season, as our girls are collecting heaps of nectar, and our manuka is flowering, and the pahutakawa trees are also starting to flower in some areas. Around here, we've still got the buds waiting to bloom, and Kanuka's still on its way. So we usually get that about the end of December, around Christmas Day. We notice that. And, so the girls are working hard, and yee-haw! Finally, we get some summer, and let's see how the summer flow goes.
Let's move on to blog recap. And you've got a quote here. What's this?
I love that our podcasts are your top choices, folks. And just know we have fun recording them for you. And so grateful for your feedback, such as Aaron's comments, which create a wonderful conversation and interest in treatment-free beekeeping. So there'll be other people who will be looking at that for their own, endeavours. So keep your views coming, guys.
Absolutely. And the top post last week was Apiary Awesomeness in Splitsville. This was our episode 98. It was good, eh?
Yeah, I enjoyed that one, and Splitsville was what it was.
Absolutely. And our second most popular one was with Joe Lewis, Beekeeping 357. It was a good one. It was Joe Lewis from Maryland. Enjoyed that one. And the third most popular, this is an old post, keeps getting popular, Beekeeping 101, 7 Steps How to Become a Beekeeper. And I've actually added the presentation that we gave to the lifestyle block to that post, guys, so you can have a look at the YouTube video about how it's like a, 11-minute video and it goes through all the 7 points, and I talk and run out of breath and stuff like that.
Cool. Something to really listen to, guys. And tell people what Lifestyle Block is.
It's a forum for lifestyle block people in New Zealand, and lifestyle block's like a what do you call it, like a small farm, or a small farm that you couldn't make a living just doing that, I guess you could describe it. Yeah,
it's a bit of a small acreage. Some of them are about 10 acres, around thereabouts, eh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just helping people to do things on a much smaller scale, but still looking at having different lifestyle than, and getting some of their own food in and stuff like that. And yeah, it's awesome, and we were very honoured to be invited to do that, eh, Dale?
Yeah, it was good. And speaking of honour, let's listen to my first beekeeping hero.
And where's this from?
He's from America.
Where humour joins teaching.
I'm Howland Blackiston, and I'm the author of the book Beekeeping for Dummies. And people often ask, what is the best lesson or information you can give to someone starting out with bees? And my answer is, make sure you become a beekeeper. That is, you really care for, look after, and tend to your bees, versus just becoming a bee haver, someone who has a hive in the corner of the garden but essentially ignores them and doesn't pay any attention to their welfare. So look after your bees, and they'll do wonderful things for you and reward you with lots and lots of delicious honey.
Absolutely. Thanks, Howard, for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Howard's book was the first beekeeping book that he started reading, and it's a real goodie, guys. And
Beekeeping for Dummies. I'm sure you've seen it.
Yeah, that's it.
And there's an interview coming soon with Howard, and he's actually releasing I think it's the 4th edition of Beekeeping for Dummies soon. So,
oh, that's fantastic. And I think that I just really enjoyed it because he did crack me up. There was some really cool bits in there. I just liked it so much. So, waiting on that one, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Now, let's head over to Australia with a tip from Andrew from Swarm Patrol.
I'm Andrew from swarmpatrol.com, site specializing in collecting swarms, and as such, let me give you some tips on what you should do when collecting swarms. Although swarms are quite docile when they've compacted and wrapped around the queen, but you can never trust it, so always at least wear a veil. If you don't wear a veil, wear a full suit. You never know when they are going to sting you. So be safe and save the bees and save the swarms.
Okay, well, while we're in Australia, we have to express our thanks to you Aussies who are, investing in being cool in our Kiwi Breeze ventilated mesh suits and jackets. We appreciate you supporting us through these purchases. And cheers, guys. And we've had some lovely reviews on the old, on the interwebbies thingies that Gary knows so much about. Yeah.
and be cool this summer, guys. Get a Kiwi Breeze. Do you like my ad voice?
Oh, your ad voice? Is that your ad voice?
Yeah, ad man voice.
Crikey, I've lost my mojo.
Oh, jeez, Louise, what the heck was that all about?
Just drink another glass of champagne, you'll get your mojo back.
Yeah, that's it.
Now, back to America. Someone's been buying our Kiwi Hive tool.
Oh, yes, we've had some American people purchasing our Kiwi Hive tool, and this is what we call the
Kiwi Beekeeper's Crowbar.
Okay.
It's not as big as a crowbar, but is it?
No, but it's just so strong and really handy because it does have all the tools in there. Anyway, we're getting some great feedback of that, and they're selling quite steadily over there. So thanks, guys. And
we may even be featured in a, was it American Bee Journal or something?
Yeah, one of the tools is, that tool is being reviewed.
Ah.
Okay, so it's an awesome thrill. Awesome. Everything is awesome. And a thrill for us to know that you chose Kiwi Mana.
We had some feedback on last month's blog post. It's from Joe Lewis. The feedback was from a guy called Fisherman Alan. I wonder if he's into fishing.
That's a good question, Gary. I think I will think about that.
He said, what a great podcast. I was very impressed with the amount of information on bees. Looking forward to your next one. Thank you, Gary and Margaret. Or Margaret and Gary.
It says thank you, Margaret and
He's got
Gary.
that run the wrong way. Yeah. And that's from Fisherman Alan in Adelaide River in Australia.
Sentence. Where's that? Is that a part?
I think that's his name.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries.
Alan.
So, Fisherman Alan, that's fantastic. Thanks for the feedback.
Yeah, and thanks for taking time to share that with us. And awesome.
Banana!
I love that, and you can hear the water in the background. I don't know why the banana suddenly came up when the tui was playing, but, these things happen. These things happen. So, what's next, Gary?
Beekeeping news. News you can use.
And never abuse.
No, absolutely.
That's it. It's
our first one is 5 awesome facts.
Yeah, it is. It is
about bees
that will inspire you to save them. Now, this article is from the USA. And what does Zika virus and murder have to do with this article? Well, it probably won't surprise you guys, but we've had similar issues with a similar scenario here in West Auckland, New Zealand, with the government's way of dealing to the painted apple moth, which is a classed as a threat, and it was an issue that faced us about 13 years ago.
Yes, that's right. And they were spraying like insecticides across everyone's houses and across their beehives and everything?
Yeah, so if you read this article, you will see what is happening, and they're going through the same thing. So what does this article by Lindsay Patton say? Yeah,
Lindsay Patton's writing for the One Green Planet, and she's discovered 5 more reasons we must save the bees. And the reasons are... bees recognise faces.
Yeah.
I wonder if they know when the beekeeper turns up.
I think they do. I know that I have a certain way of approaching my bees, so...
You dance towards them, don't you?
You always should dance. Dancing is part of the whole thing. You know, they love you to dance.
It's
but
true.
Back to business, Gary.
they teach and learn from each other. Yes, absolutely, with the dancing to tell them where the food is, things like that.
Okay, well, it says, if you've been paying attention to headlines, you've probably noticed that bees have been having a rough go at it. In early September, millions of bees were killed in South Carolina. They go on to say, bees are a huge contribution to our ecosystem sustainability. Not just that, but they are incredibly fascinating. So read these bee facts and find out for yourself.
Absolutely. I wonder if, because Steve Lawson, who we're going to hear from soon, he's from South Carolina. I wonder if he had the same trouble with his bees.
Yeah, Laura and John, they're in California as well, aren't they?
It's a bit far away.
Is that further from Caroline?
Yeah.
Caroline?
Carolina's on the other coast, Dale.
It's been a long day, I tell you. We were talking about swarms, and today I went to rescue bees and thought I had everything in control, and then suddenly, all of a sudden, this huge swarm decided to just raise themselves up, the whole lot of them, and then one group went one way and the other group went the other way. So all their effort and time, and they both left. And then as I was leaving, you would not believe this, some came back.
They might have been just the scout bees. Or was it quite a lot?
It was really huge. I'll tell you, it was a massive swarm. And so I've just left the box there with some frames and wax and stuff in it. So if they do want to go in there, yeah, they can. But I think there was a lot of, those really dark grey clouds. So maybe that affected them. I don't know. But yeah.
Well, you think they'd stay in the box, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I don't know what they were doing. I've never had that happen before to that degree. Maybe 2 virgin queens, they decided to split up. I don't know.
I've had swarms take off on me. Like, I remember that time I put a ladder against a tree and then the whole swarm just took off.
Yeah, they just decided, nah, we're not staying here. It's not far enough away from here.
That guy doesn't mow his lawns, not living there.
Yeah, we've checked the neighbourhood out and we don't want to stay here, guys.
And the third point.
Oh, I digress.
The third point.
What? The 5 facts are.
Despite what you think, swarms ain't dangerous. See, I stopped that tangent, guys. I stopped that tangent. And
that's a bit of a hoot from you, isn't it?
Their odorant receptors assist in mating. What's that?
Odorant receptors assist in mating? Is it, smell?
Drones can smell queens from miles away, can't they?
Yeah, and I'm not a scientist, so there you go.
And bees are necessary for our planet's survival. Well, yes.
I mean, this is just so true, and, we need them. We need them. And honeybees are really struggling in the USA, and I don't know. But read this article to confirm your good work as a beekeeper will give you the motivation to keep up your efforts, saving these wonderful insects for our Earth's future and health. They are worth the effort, guys. How would you feel about that if we didn't do that?
I agree totally, and I've got an idea. You guys can print this out and stick it with all the presents you give at Christmas time to all your non-beekeeper friends and family.
They are worth the effort, indeedy. Let's see what's next. Why I don't like beekeeping.
Well, This is an article from Rusty from Honey Bee Sweet. She doesn't like beekeeping all that much. This is provoking some thinking for beekeepers to contemplate. Boy, it gets us thinking. Let us know what your thoughts are after you read it.
Yeah, it's an interestingly written article from Rusty from Honey Bee Sweet, as Gary said, and it does provoke some thinking for beekeepers to contemplate.
And quoting from the article...
And boy, did it get us thinking.
It certainly did.
Let us know what your thoughts are after you've read it. And Gary supports Rusty's ponderings in regard that you can sometimes do things better for the bees rather than beekeeping. That's
Absolutely.
interesting. Challenging.
And here's a quote from Rusty. I can't do a Rusty voice. It's an odd thing, but I never encourage people to become beekeepers. Once someone decides to keep bees, I try to help them along and enjoy that aspect, but I've never tried to convince anyone that beekeeping is a good idea. This arises, I think, from fundamental beliefs I have about bees in general. Yes, indeed. And she also goes on to say, refraining from... This is what people can do rather than keeping bees. They can refrain from using pesticides, setting aside habitat for planting flowers and teaching others about the role of bees in our lives. Will do more from them than owning a few colonies. Yeah, I kind of agree.
Yeah, and she also mentions, or do you mention, an interesting fact?
No, this is from Rusty's article that the estimation is that the number of beekeepers who drop out in the first couple of years is around 80%. That's high, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very high, and wow, that's really something that is quite interesting to read, and that's why we try to support people as much as possible to do things well, that kind of thing. It's an interesting name for an article, isn't it? Why I don't like beekeeping all that much. So read that, guys. You will enjoy it, and I love the way it's written. And at the end of it, you'll understand why we started thinking very deeply about what she's saying. So thanks, Rusty.
Thanks, Rusty. And I kind of agree with that 2-year thing, because that's about the time that varroa mites kill most hives, isn't it?
Yeah, we have noticed that in the 3rd year, a lot of colonies just don't go any further, and unfortunately, that is a true fact that the 3rd year is pretty tough.
Absolutely. We had some good feedback about this from Matt Brake. He's from the New Forest in England. He's actually moving house soon too, but he's still living in the New Forest.
All the best with the move.
But we went to the New Forest about 20 years ago, so surely they can start calling it the Old Forest now. Anyway, he says, good article, well worth a read and so very true. Yes, I agree. And Brendan Cunningham, what does he say?
He says good article as well, and well worth a read and so very true. So they're both pretty similar comments.
I think that might be a copy and paste error, but...
Leave that one in so they know that we are real, Gary.
We will fix that in the show notes, and the show notes will be kiwi.bz/100.
That's great.
Let's hear from Ron, who's in Calgary in Canada.
Hi, this is Ron Miksha. I just want to congratulate Kiwi Mana for their 100th podcast. It's excellent work. And I'd like to remind everybody that bad beekeeping is better than no beekeeping at all.
I don't know about that.
I'm not sure myself.
Well, because Ron's written a very famous book called The Confessions of a Bad Beekeeper. Okay, that's where that comes from.
Yeah. I feel where he's coming from, because that is something that some days I think, am I doing the right thing?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. This is feedback from the article about the 5 awesome facts about bees from Christopher Stephen Epperson. Now, I'm really trying to be a pain in the rear, but that's a fly in the article. Yes, it's true.
Well done. Good spotting. And classic stuff. Thanks, Christopher, for pointing that out. And yes, sometimes they put an article together and it's supposedly about bees, and they've got a wasp on it. So well done for picking that up.
They often do, because if you go to any photo, like photo resource site and type in bee, you often get flies or bees, and no one really checks.
It's ridiculous. They need to check, I must say.
It must be more checkable.
Checkers.
Anyway, we're heading off now. to Britmana, this glorious place in the north of England,
UK.
where bees are made, dogs run in the fields, and award-winning honey is made every week.
Can I just steer you back to the UK and the allotment that we're visiting at this moment in Britmana?
We are visiting the allotment in Britmana. Let's hear from Christopher.
Hi guys, it's Chris from Sheffield in the UK. My top tip is clear crown boards, so like Perspex crown boards. I think they call them quilts here in the UK. They're brilliant just for lifting the roof off and seeing what's going on without disturbing the bees, which is great. I guess sort of inspection sides would be just as good, but I use them on all my hives and I think they're brilliant. Okay, cheers, all the best, and congratulations on the 100th episode.
Yay,
that's fantastic.
Thanks, Chris. And geez, that's a really good idea, and I think that makes so much sense. Don't you think? It'd be lovely to just open up and have a look and nosy.
Like a crown board is like a hive mat for New Zealanders, isn't it?
Yeah, that's how I see it.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
I reckon it's a brilliant idea, and you could even do that as just so you can show off to your friends.
You could, as long as you didn't have a hole in it. That would be bad. But you could get a bit of perspex,
I
and
think
try
the
it.
idea is the whole board is solid.
Yes, absolutely. I know. Now we're going to head off to the farm in Pennsylvania in the USA. We're hearing from Josiah about top bar frames.
Hi, Margaret and Gary. This is Josiah from the Farming Podcast. My tip is for beekeepers using foundationless frames. Trim down your end bars to 1 1/4 inches on your table saw instead of the 1 5/8 or 1 3/8 actually that they come standard, and your bees will draw much less crazy comb. This has helped me tremendously in getting my bees to draw straight comb, so I hope it'll help your listeners as well. 1 1/4 inches is what you want your frames to be on center for your brood comb. Anyway, congratulations on your 100th show, and keep up the great work.
Wow, that's cool. Thanks, Josiah.
Yeah, thanks, Josiah. That's awesome. And check out his podcast. It's the Farming Podcast. And we interviewed Josiah, didn't we, back on episode 37.
Wow, that seems like such a long time ago.
Yes, it was a long time ago. Now we're coming back to New Zealand. What's this about?
This is a hive of new activity in Central Library. Capital gain. Up on high, there is a buzz building. Yes, in Auckland. In New Zealand's capital city, Wellington, their Central Library has joined the Save the Bee movement, a short article sharing the news of beehives up high.
From us, this article's about Sean Lloyd, and she's from the local Flavour Honey Company. And they've installed some beehives on top of Wellington's library. The people of the capital rejoice.
Yeah, woohoo! Rebel.
And quoting from the article, the Wellington Central Library was a-buzzing with excitement last Friday as staff welcomed in their new rooftop beehives.
Yeah, we wanted to be part of the movement to give space for bees to multiply because we need bees so much, says Senna. The first year we will act as a trial period, and because of the health and safety, they are not accessible to the public yet.
Oh, I'm sure they will. So if you want to check out that article, it's quite a good one, isn't it? That's from Stuff, the
New Zealand, yeah. So that was good, and we love it because in Auckland City they had them on top of the town hall. So keep it going, government. That's it, and all those places that have got roofs spaces, get bees.
Absolutely, and welcome the bees to your building. Speaking of welcoming, this is an idea from Ernest in Coatesville. Doormats for beehives. Let's have a listen to what Ernest is up to.
Hiya, this is Ernest from Coatesville. My tip for you hobbyist beekeepers. And my tip is doormats. Yep, good old doormats that you stick out on the front of your door. See my pictures that I've sent in? I stick them on the front of my hive, just where the bees come out. I look for nice rubbery ones, lots of rubber and a bit of material on the front. I've sent in 2 pictures, you can check them out. And the 4 things, the first thing why I wanted to stick the mat out there was to keep the grass down. So I don't really like spraying a lot of poison around the hive, so stuck the mat out on the front of the hive so the grass doesn't grow there and the bees can fly right in. Then I found out that, it's actually quite a good place just to check on the health of the hive, because all the bees chuck all their dirt out the front door and it lands up on the doormat, and by walking past you can have a quick look and see if there's any dead bees around or dead wasps or wax that's been chucked out the hive. Also great when you're doing hive maintenance. You lift your lid off and you have a couple of bees on there, you want to knock them off somewhere, you knock them off on the doormat and they soon work their way up the side of the mat and back into the hive. Much better than trying to knock it on the top of the hive where you just damage your box and upset all the buzzies. And last thing I could think of, maybe a nice landing pad. If I have a couple of hives next to each other, I put different coloured mats on, and when the bees come in for their landing they can see where to go, or if they miss the spot and land on the mat they can just walk right up and be back home. A couple of other useful uses, but that's the main ones. So from me, over and out, and thanks for the show, Gary and Margaret.
Wow, that's great. So he was obviously out in the field in Coatesville.
He was out in the field,
yeah.
A field reporter. Thanks, Ernest, for that. That's awesome.
And you could hear him walking through the grass. It was awesome. And you could hear the wind blowing. So it was really real grassroots message we got from Ernst. So thanks, Ernst.
Man on the ground.
That's it, man on the ground.
And we'll have those photos from Ernest about the door hive mats in the show notes. That'll be kiwi.bz/100.
I like to drive at the speed. Oh, sorry, God. Just got carried away.
That song is actually by a band from, I believe, Vancouver, which have since broken up.
Oh.
But they're called Assisted Living. We'll include the YouTube video of that because they're a great band, eh?
Yeah, and we used that, our drive to Waitakere Dairy, and we put that on YouTube. Is that the one you're referring to or something else?
No, it's the same song, but the band's, it's the same song,
Oh,
yeah.
why don't you put the YouTube video on driving to Waitakere Dairy?
Oh, okay, I'll do that. Then you can see what it's like driving to our dairy.
Yeah.
At 100 miles an hour. But we sped it up. It was movie magic.
Oh, look, he just takes all the thrill away. He just, I don't know. Jeez,
that's for the young'uns. You don't be driving 100 miles an hour. It's too dangerous.
I know. There's a little disclaimer on that. Folks, do not try this. Do not break the law in any way. And this film was enhanced for creative impact.
Absolutely. Let's move on to questions from
you.
First one from Reynard in Boston, USA. How do you kill paper wasps? Wow. Reynard.
I just get
it's pretty easy.
piece of wood and cover the whole thing and just boof.
Belt it. No, there's safer ways.
Oh, okay.
At night, you go up there with a paint scraper because usually they have like a big ball of things. But if it's a big ball, wear a bee suit. And what you do is you get a shopping bag, if you can still get them nowadays, and you put it underneath it and scrape the whole thing into the bag, close it quickly, and maybe put it in the freezer. That'll get rid of the paper wasps.
Yeah, and then they'll fall to sleep and problem sorted.
Absolutely. And this one, I don't know if we've got an answer for this one. Are beehives covered in contents insurance? This is from Elizabeth in Auckland. Did you find out anything about this?
No, I didn't. I think that probably the best thing to do is get in touch with your insurance company, talk to them about, what you've spent, maybe produce some receipts and everything like that, and discuss with them whether they would cover that, because I think it's a really good question because so many hives are getting stolen now. And what were you saying about a flow hive?
Oh, that was in Australia. Someone's flow hive got stolen.
Yeah, and so, it is a really good question, Elizabeth, and I think that get in touch with your personal insurer and see whether they will help you. I know that commercial guys definitely insure their colonies. They do that by producing receipts and all the things that go along with that. So, our advice is to check with your insurer.
Absolutely. If anyone's out there that works for an insurance company or is prepared to ring their insurance company up, drop us an email at info@kiwimana.co.nz and we can include the responses next show.
Yeah, that'll be good. And then, all feedback is appreciated in terms of that. That'd be interesting. And Elizabeth was in Auckland, New Zealand.
Yep. And the next question is from Paul over on the North Shore. It's in Auckland, New Zealand. Why does my hive keep swarming?
This is a good one. We've had a lot of questions about why hives swarm. So one of the reasons hives swarm is because it's a natural instinct, and that usually happens in spring. The ways that we deal with that is by actually keeping the old queen. So what we do with ours is we take the old queen away from the colony and then let the colony draw their own queen cell. And this is before they get to the swarmy part of the season. So you really have to preempt it when the colony's getting a lot of new eggs and starting to build up. And of course you want drones to be around, so you have to be very careful about your timing. If you don't do that and you wait till later to let them to let them naturally swarm, and you don't deal with it, and there's more than one or two queen cells in there, they can become very swarmy, eh? So
very swarmy.
Yeah, and they could split off with each one of those queens, depending how strong those queens are. So, what are your thoughts, Gary?
I think naturally split them before they start deciding to split them yourself. Before the swarmy season. I like that, the swarmy season.
Swarmy, yeah.
And I would just do natural splits. So always have a spare hive box and roof and everything, because you never know when your hive's going to swarm.
Yeah, and that's one of the articles we talk about in the blog, on the blog part 2, where it talks about what you need to be prepared for this. And the other thing is that if you want to manage keeping your old queens and you want to manage the swarms because you're in an urban environment, the preemptive way to split is a really good way, because you don't drain the resources of the colony. You're actually sharing the resources between the split and the old queen. And when you take the old queen away, you want to make sure that she is going to be really healthy and that she's got plenty of food and she's got some good brood there. And what will happen with that is, if anything fails on the one you've split, you've still got your resource there. And having a laying queen is a fantastic resource for every beekeeper. Okay, so you could consider her as your breeding queen, and you have to look after her like she is gold.
Absolutely. And have a look at the Joe Lewis podcast, because he talks about how to make nukes and splits and stuff in that podcast. So that gives some information there too. And if you don't want more than one hive, you can sell the other one, can't you?
Yeah, I do encourage people that if they've got older queens, like they've got them through winter and they've survived well and maybe it's their second season, that producing some more nukes is a good idea, but you just don't want to reduce that breeding colony so much so that they collapse at the end of the season. Okay? Yeah,
and I always recommend people have 2 hives anyway, because it's a good number to have.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the thing is that if you split it so much that they lose all their resources and then you lose your principal breeding stock, then you really are screwed, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Are you?
Well, if you lose all, you are.
You are. So, that is the way of it. And, you got to understand that these are insects and they do things on instinct. So look after that instinct. Keep them feed them with their own honey, and try to do things that are in line with what the bees would be naturally doing. And then with regards to multiple swarming, you need to manage it before it gets to that stage. And one of the other reasons why hives swarm is what, Gary?
Space, the final frontier.
That's the one. The final frontier, which could see your girls leaving.
Yeah, sorry. Star Trek quote. Not that I've seen it since I was at school, so it's been a little while.
That's right. Okay, moving along. What's next?
Sorry to cut you off, but this is random review time.
Yeah,
no time to waste.
Okay.
This is where we give out a gift certificate to people and who've left a review on one of our products during the month.
Yeah, and this is to say thanks.
Okay, and the lucky winner's got to get in touch within 2 weeks, and that'll probably be the 21st of December.
But haven't you got a surprise for everyone?
We may have a surprise.
A surprise for the prize.
The lucky winner gets a $30 gift voucher, and they need to get in touch within 2 weeks of this podcast release date. Let's do the first one.
The winning number is
14.
That's fantastic. And the interesting thing about the random review is that when we first started doing this, we were only getting a few people putting it in, but it's gone up to 43 people sending in their reviews. So guys, thank you so much, man. That's awesome.
Absolutely. And this number 14 is from Jeff. And he bought some Hoffman frames. And he says, outstanding. Not only are they well-made frame kit sets, they are out-of-a-box fit. No easing of oversized table needed. But after initial order of 24 frames on the 5th of the month, and then talking to Margaret on the phone early on the 6th, added 20 more 3/4 frames to the order. Oh, that's good. Good work, Margaret. And changing the shipping method, they still arrived here at the other end of the country on the 8th. Did I say outstanding? Very well packaged, addressed, and complete with the invoice. Darn near the perfect deal. Jeff in Southland. Oh, thanks, Jeff.
That's wonderful, Jeff. And yeah, you're welcome. And we're glad that we gave you the best service that we can, and that's what we aim to do. And I think you made a little hint there before we read that first number. What exactly is going on, Gary?
I reckon we should do another random review since it's our special 100 show. What do you think? Is that okay?
What do I think?
Yeah, baby.
Okay, let's read another random review.
the winning number is
40.
Oh, number 40 is Trish. She bought the Kiwi Lifestyle Long Bench Hive.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
And she says, I love my new hive. I put off getting into the bees for years because I knew my back would not be able to handle it. Now I can get started. It has everything I wanted in a hive. I love the observation window and can't wait to be able to show my grandkids how the bees live. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's fantastic, Trish, and congratulations, and we hope that you claim your prize.
Absolutely. So claim your prize before the 21st of December, guys.
Yeah, Jeff, Trish, get in touch with us as soon as you can to claim that $30 Kiwi Mana gift certificate.
Cool.
That's Absolutely. Awesome. So it's all going what around here, Gary?
Banana!
It's a bit bananas.
Yes.
When can we open the bottle of champagne?
Oh, well, have we finished our...
No, not yet. We've still got feedback. Feedback from you.
Ah, yes, got work to do still, guys.
Feedback from you. We had a voicemail.
Okay, now we're in Wyoming, and let's hear what the Bee Whisperer has to share.
Absolutely. Michael Jordan, the Bee Whisperer.
Hi, this is Michael Jordan out of Cheyenne, Wyoming, the Bee Whisperer. Remember, you should always feed your bees. Try to find a natural product because over the months of Darth, they need something to eat or they'll eat themselves and starve out.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think because Wyoming they get a lot of snow.
Okay, yeah,
And
that
they've got-
makes sense.
And Sheriff Longmire was causing trouble.
And yeah, I've got a big smile on my face, and these tips are awesome, guys. And, all these different ones are quite interesting, like the doormat, in front of the hives. It's like a welcoming to the girls.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So what's smoking in South Carolina?
Okay, here's a great smoker tip, and this one's from Steve Lawson.
Hi, my name is Steve Lawson from the low country of South Carolina, and my beekeeping tip is that paper egg cartons make great smoker fuel. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for recording it. Thanks, Steve. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And
Very short and sweet, to the point.
And Steve's meant to be launching a Top Bar podcast. Hasn't done it yet. Come on, Steve. Come on. Just do it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
If you need any help doing that, give me a yell.
Yeah, that's great,
We
Steve.
can help you. We know a few things. Not much, but we know a little. And let's move on to Facebook feedback.
Face what?
Right. Let's move on to
This is from the social medias.
The social medias. Facebook. Ian Hugh Manor. That's a great name. He said, pretty much everything is awesome with the show. Oh, that's awesome. Especially that you didn't give it up after a few episodes. I like that you're 6 months out from us. It keeps my noodle clanking in the off-season.
So where is Ian from?
I think he's in the good old USA. I'm not sure exactly, but I know he's from the USA.
Okay, well, while your noodle's clanking over there in the other side of the world, Ian, we want to thank you for getting in touch with us and being a part of this 100th episode, and that's for all of you guys for taking time, so it's awesome.
Yes, absolutely, that's awesome, and it's great that, and I know what you mean about some podcasts start up and they discover that it's a lot of work, so they fizzle out after about 7 episodes, but it's worth it.
Okay, well, it's great to hear that our work helps all over, and that that sometimes it is good, because when you're, like I remember when we were going through winter, and I was just like, I was looking out the window and I knew I couldn't go and see the bees and everything. And so I went on to like YouTube and I watched some old videos and I watched just so much stuff on there so I could get some, bee stuff, my addiction had to be fulfilled. And I think I hear what you're saying there, Ian, and that we're glad that we could fill that for you while you guys are sort of snuggling in front of the fire.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we could do one thing for us this month, guys, can you go and tell a beekeeping friend about us?
Even a gardener, because we've got some real cool books coming out.
Yes, absolutely. But tell a friend about us, and don't tell us how crazy we are.
Tell them this is seriously good beekeeping podcast, and tell a friend, guys.
And one more time. Drive. Oh, sorry.
I love it. And, Gary, I'd just like to ask you.
Oh, what are you going to ask me? Where the champagne is?
Oh, that's second. But
Okay.
the first one is what's your most memorable moment?
Oh, I don't know. Probably when we got 40 downloads, we were going, what? 40 people like us? Remember that? That was pretty impressive. I remember that guy that he did sound like Morgan Freeman rang us. That was pretty interesting. I don't know what that was about.
That was a real hoot.
Was a hoot. And I'll tell you what, I've really loved talking to beekeepers around the world, and, talking to some of my heroes. So that's been cool, and they're actually nice people.
Yeah, I think that's been awesome, and I think it's sort of connected us to what we've heard about them or read about them, and these are real people, and we're just so thrilled that they have shared their stories with us, And yeah, I hear what you're saying about the terms of that these people are just, teaching us so much. So we're very grateful for that. And yeah.
So what's your most memorable moment?
I think for me, it's been about connecting with people from all over the world. Like we've had Lauren and John from Greece getting in touch with us, and they're doing their beekeeping over there. And then we've got, over in the islands, Patrick, listening to his stories and what he does. And, it makes it feel so real and so worth it that, people are saying that we're helping them and that, we're bringing things to their attention. So the most memorable one was probably episode 68, I think it was.
Refresh my memory.
Yeah, I'm trying. I just know 68 was one of the best.
I'll have to go and listen to that again.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, guys. Well,
time to open the champagne.
That's it. That'll be happening shortly. So
we'll see if we can get a live recording for you guys. But if we don't, have a great Christmas, guys, because this will probably be the last podcast for the year. Have a fantastic and safe time, and if you're up in the Northern Hemisphere, just read lots of beekeeping books, listen to some old podcasts, enjoy yourselves.
Keep in touch, guys, and thank you, and see ya!
See ya! Well, guys, thanks everyone for listening. I've got some Lindauer here. Not probably real champagne for connoisseurs, but it works for us Kiwis, doesn't it?
I think so. We'll find out.
Shall we shake it up or just do it? Got a bottle of champagne here for our 100th show.
Because we like to drive at the speed of 100.
Not after drinking, but...
No drinking and driving.
You ready? Oh.
Yay! We know you're here with us in spirit, guys.
Yeah, we if we had a bigger bottle, we'd share it all to you, but...
Thank you. Woohoo!
Love you, Dale.
Jeez Louise.
It's bubbly.